Hi everyone, welcome to the video. Thank you for tuning in. Today we have some news about the Tron Foundation, Tronix, or Tron the token, some information about it and my own price analysis, and I'll give you my overall impartial review of the system. Just a reminder, none of this is legal, tax and or financial advice. Always do your own research. I want to point out just before we begin, so Tron, it currently sits at number 12 on the list of top cryptos based on market cap. And if we go on to the actual price, about 3 cents, and it's down from its all-time high of just under 30 cents there. And as you can see on the graph here, that happened back in early 2018, January. Back to the Tron website. What is Tron? For those not looking at the screen, Tron is one of the largest blockchain-based operating systems in the world. Some of their features include high throughput. So this is achieved by improving the transactions per second in Tron, which has surpassed Bitcoin and Ethereum to a daily use practical degree. High scalability, always very important in the crypto space as well, and high availability there. So more reliable network structure, user assets, intrinsic value, so on and so forth. You go down the list here, according to their website, this shows as superior to Ethereum and Bitcoin at the moment in terms of transactions per second, still relatively low compared to the hundreds of thousands of transactions per second that we need for something global. A bit about the Tron wallet as well and the online nodes around the world. Let's look at the Tron token itself. Tronix is a mainnet token based on the Tron protocol issued by Tron Foundation, known as TRX. Some of the use cases for Tron here include card payments, purchasing merchandise, token issuance there on the blockchain, and various things as well, including virtual gifts and Pornhub if you're interested in that. Now, some information about Tron compared to its main competitors. So you have EOS and Ethereum are the other two that come to mind. So it's a bit of a three-way race to see who can get to the top. This article here talks about the growth in dApps. So before I continue, dApps referring to decentralized applications that controls them. And they have these things called smart contracts as well. So these are self-executing contracts. So where the conditions have been met, the contract between two parties is then done automatically. It's all on the blockchain. So there's no need for a third party and saves a lot of resources that way. And it's easy to track as well on the distributed network. This is considered groundbreaking technology once it all launches. Just want to read some of the key points here from the article. According to new data from Rating dApp, EOS and Tron both gained significant user share over the last week, while Ethereum dApp growth has slowed. Ethereum remains the godfather of decentralized applications with by far the largest user base, ecosystem, and most liquidity, and it continues down here as well. Going down to this graph here, just to give you some perspective about where they all sit. So Tron is handling many more transactions than both EOS and Ethereum combined. Ethereum is really lagging behind there. This is based on an article back in, I think it was March. Bit of discussion there about Tether, and yes, there was the controversy with Tether and Bitfinex as well. That's on a side note there. The rest of the article there for you to read. Tron has a lot of potential behind it, so they're forming new partnerships and acquiring different companies as well to really solidify their stance. Information there about BitTorrent, which is picking up. So this article here from Blockonomy, a link to all of this in the description below. Just to summarize the key points, after acquiring the largest streaming platform on the internet, BitTorrent, which soon became a centerpiece of Justin Sun's vision of a decentralized internet, the CEO of Tron Foundation announced the acquisition of the first global blockchain app store. After the announcement that BitTorrent live services are open for user testing, goes on there down the list. Further information about BitTorrent and the various features there, and how the foundation is aiming to improve the user experience. For those who don't know, just to backtrack slightly, I want to draw your attention to the Tron Twitter page here. We've got Justin Sun, the Tron founder and BitTorrent CEO. This winning bid here, I'm going to talk about this later. Let's just focus on some of the positive features of this, and I'll give you my summary of the bid and all later in the video. As you can see, now Tron and Justin Sun are very active in the Twitter sphere. They post very, very frequently compared to, say, Cardano, Block One, which oversees EOS, and then you've got Ethereum as well. On the topic of Twitter, there's this announcement from the Loom network. They formed a partnership here with Tron. We will be integrating Tron and EOS into Plasma Chain. Plasma Chain will effectively become a universal layer 2, connecting Ethereum, EOS, Tron, and Cosmos, with more chains to come. And then there's this Medium article here. Despite this, Tron, EOS, and Ethereum are all three different companies still competing for that top spot, try and be one of the best at dApps and smart contract. Further information about Loom here on the Twitter page, and then BitTorrent as well. I just want to go back to this information. This is the other side of the story about Justin Sun and Tron and some of the shortcomings with the project. One of the most topical issues over the past few days in the crypto sphere, this charity lunch that Justin Sun has won based on I think it's a record-breaking bid as well. So Warren Buffett, quick side note, he hosts these charity lunches and gives money to this charity in California. Great idea, making a difference. However, people have criticized this. Many of you know Warren Buffett, a highly successful investor. He is also a staunch Bitcoin opponent and a huge crypto critic. The idea of this is Justin Sun send a group of about 7 other people with him to this lunch and try and convince Warren Buffett otherwise about crypto and make him see the light and the benefits behind. Now, this Crypto Slate article here is fairly critical of this decision. Some of the key points here. Justin Sun, the CEO of Tron, just spent $4.6 million to have lunch with Warren Buffett in an attempt to change the investor of Omaha's mind about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. He said here in a press release, "I'm a long-term believer of Buffett and his long-term value investing strategy. As some of you might know, the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway has said publicly he sees no unique value in Bitcoin, the world's largest cryptocurrency," end quote. He's very keen to try and change his mind and get him to then jump ship and support cryptos. Looks a bit about the announcement there and the tweet. He loves doing. This is where the criticism comes in. Despite it going to charity, this is money that people would expect to then be invested into the project to improve it. Someone tweeted here, he used $4.57 million of ICO money you gave him for a lunch date. Personally, let's go down even further. Justin Sun has a tendency to hype a lot of news. He embellish an announcement. So here it reads, Justin Sun announced a partnership with controversial stablecoin company Tether to launch a new fiat-backed token on the Tron blockchain. He went as far as to offer an outlandish 20% APR to incentivize holders of the stablecoin. APR referring to the interest rate there. A very charismatic and ambitious bloke, that's for sure. And adding on to that, so he mistook a marketing email from Liverpool FC and spun it into a partnership, in inverted commas, with the soccer team. A day later, the New York Attorney General issued a court order against Tether's parent company for allegedly losing $850 million in customer deposits. That would have definitely raised a few eyebrows, that's for sure. The criticism continues for Justin Sun. Understandably, Sun's latest stunt attracted ridicule from the crypto community. A poll from software engineer Pierre Rochard suggested the funds would have been better spent on improving Tron's technology, and there's the tweet there from him. According to this, out of nearly 2,000 votes, 82% of people would have rather seen the money spent on a dozen protocol devs working on Taproot for 2 years, as opposed to a lunch with Buffett. I completely agree. My personal opinion. I watched an interview with Justin Sun following this announcement. His justification behind this was, well, because I've followed Warren Buffett's strategies and I've made a fortune, I thought it's a way to help repay him by doing this bid. Okay, I see some merit in that. However, once again, the thing he needs to remember, despite his personal respect and admiration for Buffett, people have supported your project on the condition that you will aim to further it as best as possible. They want to see maximum returns on that. They want to see the project flourish and do well. So you should commit as much money towards research and development to improve the project as possible. Especially when you consider these two things. One, there is huge competition from EOS and Ethereum. In fact, Ethereum has announced recently that they'll have Casper, their proof of stake, Plasma, their version of Lightning Network, and then sharding to help improve the transactions as well. If Ethereum gets this done very soon, say in the next 6 to 12 months, or maybe 18 months, Tron will have some serious competition. Let's not forget about EOS as well. It has a very promising blockchain and a good team behind it. With all of this, on top of the fact that his project is less than 2 years old. The second thing, this is a new space. His project has only been around for 2 years, and we are, in my opinion, at a watershed moment. It's a new asset class. It's only been around for it's been around for about 10 years with Bitcoin. Very new. We need to get all engines going and make this succeed. We need to prove so many naysayers wrong. I don't think trying to convince Warren Buffett is the best solution. Actions speak louder than words. You can convince him until the cows come home. Why don't they spend this money on improving the technology? With these actions, when we get some robust technology behind it and awesome dApps and smart contracts and all of these great cryptos out there, we can prove the naysayers wrong firsthand. Less talking, more action. On that note, On that note, let's go on. I've spoken about this at length. To summarize this point, this was also reported in Bloomberg and a CCN article as well. Let's go on to what you've all been waiting for, the Tron price predictions, live coin watch with some of the information here. And as usual, I prepare the PowerPoint presentation. $1 per Tron, $80 billion market cap. We get that? I believe we could. Probably going to take another 2 to 3 years. We just need the whole crypto space be really taking off. I'd say at least a market cap of about $2 trillion overall. $5 per Tron. Now this would involve a massive adoption and probably Tron to then overtake EOS and maybe even $400 billion purely just for Tron. $10. Now I think this is getting very ambitious. This would need Tron to just revolutionize so many different industries, especially in regards to data streaming and also payments as well. An astronomical increase. So we're looking at 300 times the price from what we have now. $800 billion market cap purely for Tron. That would involve Tron pretty much taking over so many things. $30, I think this is getting unrealistic here. That would involve $2.4 trillion of market cap for Tron. If anyone says $30 per Tron, I think it is very far-fetched. Just my opinion there. Let's go through the next set with 90 billion circulating supply. So $90 billion for $1 Tron, 450 billion, 900 billion, and then $2.7 trillion there. Massive. What are your thoughts on these price predictions? Let us know in the comments. And to summarize, this is how I did the calculations. So it's this relationship between the market cap, coin token price, and the circulating supply, or the total supply if you want to look at that. Pretty straightforward, in case you wonder how I did that. And that's a wrap. Thank you very much for tuning in. What are your thoughts on this information I said or any of the price predictions I made? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Stay up to date to my latest content. Hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to smash the bell icon as well. Share it with anyone who you believe will benefit, and feel free to leave your thoughts in general or just say g'day in the comments section. Thank you once again. Before I forget as well, I promised that I would give you some of my thoughts with the coin prices, especially whilst we're here and making any predictions in general. The idea I want to say is if you are keen on getting huge returns from a small amount of money, well, what you need to do, if you haven't thought about this yet, you need to consider the coins with the smaller market caps. Because realistically, let's say if you want to make 100 times the return, it's a lot easier to do that with something with a market cap of approximately 1 billion, so to go from 1 to 100 billion, as opposed to, say, Bitcoin. Realistically, I don't see Bitcoin multiplying by 100 times. Not anytime soon. That you see, that would involve astronomical market cap and not as realistic as the smaller capped tokens there. There's a higher risk that the coin would fail or not do as well as, say, something further up like Bitcoin. Thank you again for tuning in, and I will chat to you soon. See ya.